And you know what the laws of Prime Minister do. And I am uniquely positioned to tell you and Barbados what being at the helm entails. Because Barbados need to be told these things too. And you know what it means? It does not only mean sharing a cabinet on a Thursday. It means every day working hard. And I used to work every day up to 5 o'clock and thereafter coordinating my ministers and my ministries and making sure policies and programs were being developed to carry forward this country. And some evenings at 5 o'clock, I would start meeting my ministers and go to my desk and start my second shift. I would not leave my desk until every file has been dealt with. I had a policy, my minister would tell you, clean desk policy. Will not leave work until every desk, until every file has been done. And I will sit there from 5 to whenever. I will call people wherever they were. Since this man has been referred to me, they'll be dealt with whatever else. And it meant being at the helmet on weekends. I reserve my weekends, meet with the leadership of the unions and the private sector and people to do troubleshooting to make sure that you have a secure country. I know the times I had to stop my office staff and say, I have not had a weekend free for months. Give me a Sunday free. And there were times when we go home at 11 at night and get up at 3 in the morning because none of these ministers of my cabinet could ever come to a cabinet with a paper that I had not read. Because I owed it to them and I owed it to you to make sure that I ran a government where I was on top of the situation. And I know what it was to sit as a Minister of Finance and ask them to bring your budgets and go to them line by line, page by page, and ask them to justify every penny of public expenditure. And the Prime Minister must set the direction and give the country a voice and say what the mission is. That's what a Prime Minister must do. And the Prime Minister of Barbados, Barrow said what the mission was. Grant the Adams said what the mission was. He had to release this country from the bondage of the leadership and dictation of the plantocracy. And that was his mission. And Barrow said my mission is to bring independence to this country. And they said that the baton had been passed to me. And that I can the vision of Barbados fully developed. Taking its place proudly among the world. Full development. Abolition of poverty. Full employment. And so this is the mission. And this is the pathway. Because that is why you're born a leader. He must set the mission and show the path. That's right. And that for us in Barbados, 52% of what we sell goes to CARICOM. And most of the services that we sell go to CARICOM. So that we need a strong, vibrant regional economy to carry forward Barbados. And if Barbados is going to come to this, let's know a Barbadian leader must come forward and say, I'm going to develop the Caribbean, because if we develop the Caribbean, Barbados goes with it. And that was my mission. There must be a single economy, because once the region is growing, Barbados will be growing. And I tell you that being at the helm meant those things. Getting up in the mornings to be fully briefed. My deputies didn't have to brief me or brief them. To be on top of the situation. And for 14 years, they had that physical discipline. And you know my daughter Leah would call me, Daddy, when are you coming home? I know you're working hard, but when are you coming home? And that's something I had to put family above self. And here I have seen prime ministers of the past. Everybody died in office, and it is a great irony in this country. And I'm not reflecting on the Thompson circumstances. But in the nature of the job, that what is a gift to the ordinary Barbadian man or woman, the gift of a long life, a grand old age, has not been bequeathed to the leadership of this country, because it is so exacting. And everybody didn't know a long life, and he had to flee to Miami because the pressures were so rough. I don't remember on March 11, 1985, Tom Adams had not seen the estimates of expenditure. I supervised them. And I sent the paper to Tom Adams, and a message came about what has Owen after sent this paper to me for. Because even as he was dying, he was feeling the weight of office. And it is a job that even in the best of circumstances is physically and intellectually challenging. And it is not a job, believe me. It is not a job for somebody who is not fully at their best. And this is not meant to be a criticism of Mr. Doctor. But it is true that a leader in Barbados doesn't only have power. The leader exercises influence. He sets the mission. He said, this is the mission, this is the direction, this is where we're going. And the Barbadian people have been acculturated to believe that their leader, they will follow the leader. And you want to follow your leader. And I say also, because it has no to be said, that if a situation arises where a leader's circumstances are such as to affect his or her ability to perform the duties of Prime Minister, that is anticipated by the Constitution. Because our Constitution states what is to happen when, by reason of incapacity of ill health, a leader is not in a position to discharge the responsibilities of Prime Minister Barbados. And I'll tell you what being a Prime Minister entails. It entails working with all your ministers to have to, not just to coordinate cabinet, but to deal with policy initiatives and whatever, day by day. And then going back to the office at 5 to do your files and do your work. That's what it entails. It is tough, physically and demanding. And Barbados needs that. And it needed that from me. It needed that from Ira Barrow. It needed that from Prince St. John. It needed that from Erskine Sandyford. It needed that from Gandhi Adams. It needed that from Cummins. And it needs that from whoever is needing it now. And that the welfare of our country can be affected. And this is the point. It is not attacking anybody personally. The welfare of every Barbadian can be affected if a Prime Minister, by reason of incapacity, is not able to carry the weight of the office. And I think, as I said, that we're reaching a stage in Barbados where 3 crises are flowing into one. A crisis of institutional and social disorder on a scale unprecedented in the history of this country. An economic crisis that is now reflecting week by week in the collapse of our enterprises. And for the first time in our history, has been said, we have a void in the leadership. And Barbados cannot continue like this. This country, therefore, is on the brink of becoming a failed society. Because when these 3 things flow into each other, it is so easy in a short period of time for an economy and a society to go over the cliff. And you know, we have recent history to draw from. In 1989, Erskine Sandyford said that Barbados was performing like Sir Garfield. And within a matter of months, this economy has gone under, gone over. So, David Thompson, Brenda Stewart, Democrat, their party in general. In 1990, on the point of a crisis that was not as extreme as this. President Sandiford enunciated his ideology and a philosophy that distinguishes the BLP from the BLP. He says the Democratic Labour Party was not going to do anything to commit suicide. You paid a horrific price for that. You did. Barbados is once again at such a moment. And I'm saying to you that the machinations of Party Henry and others in the Democratic Party is to create the image and the perception of being in charge. But it is meaningless, totally meaningless, if on the occasion when 6 Barbadians lost their lives to the act of domestic terrorism, you cannot see your leader. And the time has come to put Barbados first tonight.